What a close one we had over the weekend. Great to have you both on board. Chris Pepper, 377-game superstar of the East Keilor Football Club. The great man, Jamie the Jdog Wallace. Superman, how are you, champion? Our teams are officially shithouse. Round 20 was officially shithouse. And it was literally only a team that screwed the pooch at three-quarter time that saved this round from obscurity.
Yeah, let's just cut the crap. Like, let's pull the parachute string on this season. If this is the indication of the next 4 weeks of football, the last 4 weeks of football for us, Peps, I want none of it. I want to be part of none of it.
It was poo. It was that poo that a team on Friday night won by 93 points, and it still did not guarantee that they would make it into the 8. It did, and then they got pushed out because teams had bigger wins. It just boggles the mind what is going on right now, and how I have to put up with another Essendon game on a Friday night. What have they got this week? Oh, they've got a late shift this week. But yeah, footy is just in a diabolical state. Massive news that's some of you may not even know, but by the time you listen to this or watch this, it's gone to air. The game is officially screwed. It's rooted. I don't know what more I can say. I'm going to have a look at this ladder. We're going to get straight into it, talk about what we talk about, and then we're going to go from there, and we're just going to open up double barrel, no NFI, no filters implemented tonight. Collingwood on top of the ladder, a massive win against Richmond. Adelaide Crows, well, we'll get into that because they played your mob. Brisbane Lions, humiliated. Geelong, they humiliated everybody else. Hawthorn, okay, they beat who they had to beat. GWS, wow. Fremantle, beat West Coast. Gold Coast Suns, win of the weekend by length of the 0.6. I would love to know what the highest percentage a team has been to not make the 8 or make finals in history. I would love to know that. Then you got Sydney Swans. They had it, Jdog, and they ruined it. Port Adelaide, we'll get into in a moment. Carlton, a crap. Melbourne, we'll talk about that in a minute. St Kilda, I'm going to give them their props. I'm not just going to talk about how crap my team is. I'm going to give them a massive pat on the back. Essendon, I'm going to give them a pat on the back and say, get off primetime television. Richmond, they are better than probably the 5 teams above them. North Melbourne, thank Christ there's West Coast because they are an absolute travesty. And West Coast, who play Melbourne this week, are on 4 points and 63.5. J-Dog, is the 8 going to change?
Don't care.
Righty up.
I'm being honest. I just don't care. I literally could not give a stuff about the 8.
You know what? Can I just say, listen, we keep it pretty honest. All right? I want to talk. We've already had the chat is going nuts already. Craigie Jones, fuck footy. Tommy Roker, Peps, we love it when he spits it. Peps, D's giving the shits once more. Like, they're all just coming in right and fast. Let's have a look at some of these results, mate. Look, the only thing I can see is I do have a feeling that the doggies will make it. I just don't know who's going to drop out. And I don't think it's going to be Gold Coast. Could Hawthorn drop out?
Hawthorn maybe, because... But their run also looks okay. A little bit tough, but got some okay games in there. Probably Hawthorn are the most acceptable. But Peps, when I say I don't care, I'm just sick of weekends watching arse games, to fucking take Daniel Gorringe's term. Sitting there and spending time watching arse games about teams I don't give a shit about, whilst my team on the other end is copping an absolute ramrodding.
Oh, you got fisted.
And as much joy as I'm trying to get out of footy and to try and keep abreast of it all, honestly, it's not the game, it's not the umpires, it's not anything to do with that. I just don't care.
Yeah. No, hey,
I have switched off as a supporter of football now.
Have you switched off because of, like, you're going to switch back on, I hope, when it comes to finals, but you've switched off now. You're just giving yourself a breather, a bit of a holiday, before we get into it? Is that the way that I'm reading it? Is that the way I'm
Great
interpreting it?
question. No, that's a great question, Peps. That's a great question.
Thank you.
I feel like the season has nothing to play for. So I'm watching games and I'm like, as I said last week, I don't care if Collingwood finished first or fourth. I don't care if Brisbane. I don't really care.
Yep.
And I feel like because there was always the last game of the season, that was always what we've got now.
Yep.
And I feel like we've entered this prematurely, and I have prepared myself to switch off from the results.
You know what it is, Jdog?
And the weekend's results, they were shit games.
Oh, it was like over 500 points in margin. I can't recall the last time we had 500 points in margin, Jdog. Like, that's ridiculous how big that was. Let's whip through these really quickly. Hawthorn defeated Carlton. That was pretty stock standard. Hawthorn did what they had to do. Carlton, how they beat Melbourne the week before, I don't even know how they did that. So that's just... Then you got Essendon get absolutely polyped by the Western Bulldogs. And you know what happened on that Friday night, don't you, Jdog? We loved a bit of bags.
Just go through all the bags at once.
I can't.
More than once tonight.
Why? Well, we are, okay?
Just go through them all.
Norton, 6. Darcy, 6. Yeah, that's right, wasn't it? Yeah, 6, 7.
Yeah, 6.
Doesn't really matter. They had bags. They took the piss. They were just witches' hats, Essendon. Witches' hats. And what makes it even funnier is that they've got Melbourne's first round pick, and Melbourne's first round pick is going to be, I think, maybe pick A6, something like that. But the thing is that they're going to get pushed so far down with all the academy picks, it's going to end up being pick 13, 14 maybe. So it's just like, they've got to do some work. GWS versus Sydney. Now, you want to talk about a game. This game, halftime, Jamie. Oh, wait, no chance. No chance. I picked GWS. I thought they were going to smash this one. It gets to halftime, and I don't know what was in their coach's rant. I don't know how volatile it was, but it set off a massive comeback, which they flipped the script by close to 80 points. It was immense.
It was an incredible second half.
It was an incredible second half, and you just look at the GWS players. They kicked 9 goals, 3 to 1 goal. Someone said today that Finn O'Callaghan is the new Chris Judd. And I saw that goal that he kicked off the half, when he got it off half back, took 2 bounces and slotted it from 50. And I could go, you know what? I can see it. I could see it. He's just electric. Toby Green's not going to be here this week. It doesn't matter. They're playing the Dogs. Dogs down in Melbourne. That's going to be a belter of a game. I would almost say Dogs lose, they're out. Simple as that. But GWS, like, they've just got everything humming. And there was a goal that Jake Stringer kicked. And it was, he literally just picked it up, snapped it, went through. He's fit, Jdog. Like, their forward line. We talk about Adelaide's forward line. I think GWS's is just humming. So, it's a double header. I didn't mind it because it meant that I could watch a bit of Happy Gilmore 2 whilst the Essendon game was on. And then I got to watch the back half of the GWS game. So, fit in nicely. Then we go on to Saturday, and I did not pick Gold Coast after what they served up the week before. But Big Ben, they were brutal on what they did. Did you see much of this at all?
No, I was watching the Bear.
Okay. The Brisbane Bears. Not the Brisbane Bears. All right. So they were that good, and it was wet. You got to realize it was teeming rain. It was awful. They've kicked 20 goals, 10, Jdog. They've pantsed them.
Actually, is this a Saturday night game?
This was a Saturday game. This was in the middle of the day in Brisbane.
Didn't watch.
It was the Q Clash.
I was racing. I was bike racing.
You were bike racing.
So no.
Could you just make up with what you were doing? You got no idea.
No, I got bike
Do
racing.
you have a headpiece in? Like, do you have an earpiece in when you bike ride?
It's bike racing.
But do you have an earpiece in?
No.
Listen to the footy?
No.
Okay. But have a look at this. Matt Rowell, 37 touches. Noah Anderson, 33 touches and a goal. Brandon Friorini, 32 and a goal. Ben Ainsworth, 27 and 3. Bailey Humphrey, 27 and 3. Like, they were just immense. There was nothing. I was watching it, and you know they said it's men playing boys? Gold Coast were the men. And they out-hunted, outworked. They were sensational. And I would go as far to say when Gold Coast played the real Gold Coast footy, like it reminded me of Richmond, like in their heyday. You can see what Dim has done to them. I would not want to play them in a final, especially if it's up there. I would already have started the mental demons would be there. They were great. And Brisbane, I don't think they can win it. I know a lot of people, I know that they're sitting nice and pretty in the top four at the moment. I don't think that they can't win it. They can't win it. Simple as that. And if I come back in 7-8 weeks' time and they've done it, I'll look like a fool, but they're not going to win it. Fremantle, they beat West Coast. Hayden Young, freak. Like, he's missed half the season with this bloke. He's just come back. He wins the Ross Glendenning medal, sets him up for success. There's nothing that mob can't do. Absolutely brilliant. It's West Coast, so you're not expecting that. But 36 scoring shots to 17. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then you go to North Melbourne versus Geelong. Now, this was a 7:35 game. This is the only reason it's good that we don't have Saturday games on TV. I'm free to wear. That was ugly. That was ugly. 40 scoring shots to 14, Jdog. And do you know what also happened?
What's that?
I won't play the whole thing. But Jeremy Cameron, 11.
Yeah.
He's immense. It's just, and you have a look at the stat line from the game. You have a look, Bailey Smith, 43 and 1. Max Holmes, 29. Jeremy Cameron, 22 and 11. 22 and 11. Shannon Neal, 15 and 4. Let's have a look at North. Colby McKercher, 32 and nothing. Luke Parker, 31 and nothing. Harry Sheasel, 27 and nothing. Like their highest goal kicker was Zerha, and he had 10 and 3. They got decimated. I've watched games where Geelong have decimated opposition and they pants them. I don't know what's going on with Geelong. I reckon they're the best downhill team. Like, you can't stop them. I think they're in it up to their eyeballs, Geelong. I think they're up to it in their eyeballs. There's just something there at the moment. There's just something there. Go on to the next one. Adelaide, Port Adelaide. This is your team. This is your mob. Tell me what happened, Big Dog, because I didn't get a chance to see that particular one because I was at a 50th. Oh, it was a good night too. But tell me about it.
What's there to say?
I don't know.
The club is shit. The club is shit. When you go down by 97 points, 96 points in conditions that were when you can physically see the rain on the TV coming down for all the three quarters, it was the worst conditions, and yet they still managed to put on a score like that on us. I think we didn't score a goal in the second half, maybe one goal in the second half. We scored 3 goals. We didn't score in the second quarter. Complete domination. Port Adelaide are just shit. This whole season has been a waste of time. And I'm ready to see the end of it. Like, there's no point Carr coming in now because the season's done. What's he going to do? Ken just got to ride it out. But what an absolute travesty that we've
wasted a season.
That we've completely wasted a season trying to do the right thing by a bloke that we basically have fired at the start of the year, and we've just tried to give him a 1-year farewell party. And yeah, what a waste! What a waste.
Jdog, you kicked 35 points. You got beaten by 98 points in a showdown. And I honestly don't think I've ever seen that. He was that embarrassed. his screen's just cut out, but now he's back. 98 points, Jdog. I cannot remember a scoreline that big. Because this is it's almost the game that everybody tunes in for. And it was awful.
It was awful. To be honest with you, I at halftime, I switched the game off, and I went and watched a couple more episodes of The Bear.
Yep.
And I checked the scores before I went to bed, and it was that. And I'm not even angry. Like, I'm not even angry with this club anymore. I've completely emotionally checked out of footy this season. So nothing. There was just nothing.
Yep.
Nothing from me. Not anger. Not anything. Just the writing's on the wall from the start of the year, and it's a culmination of what you get when you have shitty leadership at a club that's not prepared to make the tough calls and to say farewell to a coach who has been great, but we'd made a decision to move him on at the start of the year, and we just have not forced that. We've just given it a year's lap of Australia.
He's is Kenny the new John Farnham? Like that's how long he's
the farewell tour.
Yep, the farewell tour went for.
Oh, it's just disappointing when a club just does it. Like, there's when you get so close to the finals year after year after year and you fail at the finals, then at the start of the year you announce that the succession is going to be Josh Carr, but he's not taking over the keys until 2026. So we're going to keep Ken for a whole year. Early on, the signs were there, but that the season was going off the rails very quickly. Why we don't pull the rope then and go, all right, let's try and have a bit of a, the dead coach bounce, and you might get a 3 or 4 win on the run. We just continue to see it further and further decline. It's just been a complete waste of a season. It's just disappointing. And I will support the club, but as I said, this year for Port Adelaide, it was kind of done for me at about round 9. Like, that was it for me. It was the reality of it, Peps. And I sat here from round 5 and said, we are not making finals. Yep. Like, we were done.
And you're usually pretty excited to get to the end of the season, etc. But it's been really, for you, it's not the Jdog that I'm normally associated with. It's been really flat, and I've had to ask you a couple of times. You're all right? It's like, well,
yeah,
footy's crap at the moment. And you know what? Last year, you got to remember, heading into the final series, we still had teams that were in the top probably 13 clubs that could still have made finals at this stage with 4 rounds to go.
Correct.
We're down to 9. So we've got half the league are dead rubbers. I don't know how people say you have to keep the interest. I think there's too many games. I like Eddie's idea. Streamlining it. I reckon they're 25 rounds now if you add everything up. It's too many. It's way too many.
It's way too many. And if it could, like, I think the problem this year, Peps, and I've had a chat with my schoolmates about it, it's just the fact that the top 9 are just that much better than the rest of the league.
Yep.
So where we are right now was inevitable from very early on. Like, you could almost write off the bottom 3 clubs every year. Sure, no worries. But we were writing off clubs, the bottom 6.
I reckon 6 rounds in we started. Early. 6 rounds in. Actually, 5 rounds in, because I called Melbourne out of it after 5 rounds. We're done. We're not even going to get close. And then I thought after winning 5 in a row, you might actually get a chance. But I remember I would say, what are we? We're at round 20. I reckon round 11 or 12, I said, is the 8th set. We were that adamant that early on that this season was done. And we might be 1 or 2 wrong so far. And we've got a couple of games, obviously, to get through. But nothing's really changed. Even that there's been a bit of movement from the Crows' perspective. But outside of that, nothing has really been shocking. You look at the ladder, Magpies on top. Well, that's been all season. Crows, their last 8 weeks have been immense, but they've had a really good year. The Lions, they are a false economy if I've seen one at the moment. I just don't rate whatever they do. They're on 13, 5 and 1, and I don't rate them. The Cats, they're going all right. I don't know yet. There's something there.
Anyway,
and then everything else is a bit...
Let's talk about Sunday's games because,
Do we have to? All right. Then you got on to the Sunday game, Collingwood versus Richmond. And I look at Richmond and I go, this is a team that had what? They brought in, six draft picks last year? 6?
Yeah.
They are performing. They are performing better than the 4 teams above them and anybody else underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And it even makes you think even more. And you speak to people, was Adam Uze the reason Melbourne won the flag? Not Goodwin. There's definitely something there. There's definitely something there. He's brought this club together. I know Richmond people were really hesitant after a while that is this guy going to be any good? Is he going to be okay? They were with Collingwood for 3 quarters yesterday, I'd say. And then just fell away in the back end. But everybody's having... And you have a look who were their disposal getters. You had Hopper, Sonzi, younger bloke. You had Vlosten, you had Short, Jack Ross, Prestia, Sam Banks. Right? Sam Banks, Newey. Trainer, another Newey. Nankervis had his bit. McIntosh has his bit. But they're playing kids. Elgar, Jonty Fall, Morris Rioli, Houghton, Treasy, Brown. They're playing kids. Why some other coaches don't play kids and get games into them is ridiculous. And Collingwood just did what Collingwood do. What stage do I go that I've got to maybe give up my... Oh, it's not hatred. Just about Nick Dacos and just appreciate everything that he's doing at the moment.
I think you just have to, Peps. I think that's just the stage where it's almost like the Tom Mitchell. Like, you can see what they're doing. You know it's just sheepdogging and that, but you just got to appreciate for what it is. They're still racking up. They're still connecting. They're still getting goals. And you just got to appreciate that, I think.
Like, you talk about the football season being boring. How boring is Brownlow night going to be? Like, why would you turn up? He could drive his knees into somebody's back Darcy Moore style and he would not even get rubbed out. Nothing will happen to him. It's just, he's going to win it by that much. It's ridiculous. And some of the things he did on the weekend, like he had 42 and 3. Unbelievable. So Richmond, you can hold your heads high because you had a crack for 3 quarters and you tried your guts out. And Collingwood, they're just, I don't know. I've got to get to a point where I'm going to say they are the real deal, but I just look at everything. I look at the age makeup. I look up and I just think there's something. No team keeps playing teams with this age profile and continue to stay together. I've never seen it before. And so I think we're all hoping that something's going to go wrong, and it doesn't. So they're doing everything they possibly can. All right.
Let's talk about, like, how good were the first 3 quarters of the Saints and Melbourne game? The first 3 quarters were wonderful.
First 3 quarters were brilliant. I said here, I was doing some work yesterday afternoon, had on the laptop going, and I thought, hold on, what's going on here? Melbourne. Like 7, 8 goals up. And it got to 3-quarter time, Jdog, and I'm sitting here and I went, and as soon as that first goal got kicked within a minute, I've gone, oh, no. Oh, no. It couldn't. And that was the first thing. No, it couldn't, and not again. If you remember many moons ago, we got Tumpist. That was that one with, I think, Lee Montagna. And I actually shut the screen, but I just had the ticker going on. I just had the score ticker. 42, 36, 30, 24. I reckon I got to 18 points, and that's when I started to panic. And I thought, all right, with 2 minutes to go, we're up by 12 points. Beautiful. I'll turn it back on and go D's. Bo Hawkins just said it perfectly. Can we just end the season now? Kanga.
See? People are done. Fatigued already.
Yep. Jamie,
Mm.
I ranted a little bit on Saturday night. Oh, sorry, Sunday afternoon.
Monday.
Yep.
You did.
And I said that this result was the new 187 game. It's the new 187 game.
The famous Geelong game.
The 187 game back in 2011. Funny enough, that was on July 20th, 2011. This was July 27th. We just have this weekend. But I've never been more embarrassed in a result in a game ever. I'm not taking that away from St Kilda. Now, can I get this right? They played cracking footy. Wanganeen Malira, I have no idea why St Kilda are going after TDK and throwing that amount of money at him when they've got a bloke who dominated the last quarter, won it off his own boot in the last minute of a game, and they're lowballing him. It does not make any sense. Because I'll tell you what, Wanganeen Malira will pull people through the gates. I can tell you now, TDK is not going to pull supporters through. How would you be if you're a St Kilda supporter and we've got TDK, but we've lost Wanganeen Malira?
Mm-hmm.
How would you be right now if they said that to you?
You'd be pissed. Absolutely pissed.
You'd be wanting to burn the joint down. And I've spoken about this guy for years. Snags Higgins, he will go down as one of the most consistent small forwards in the last 10 years. He's always bobbing up with 2s, 3s, another 4 against the D's yesterday. He's going to go down as one of the most consistent small forwards, and his goal to games ratio, I reckon, would be pretty immense.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just blew us off the park. But Melbourne did Melbourne things. They fell asleep at 3/4 time. They don't take pride in their goal kicking. They drop chest marks. They make stupid decisions at the selection table. They drop the wrong people. They promote the wrong people. The coach didn't have any idea. Nobody on the bench had an idea. The football department's got no idea. Whoever's running the club's got no idea. Even the president sent out a letter today, and the messaging in it was more of a lecture about someone who posted a social media thing. We've had enough. We have had enough. And I reckon you've had enough at Port Adelaide. Essendon have had enough. Carlton have had enough. North Melbourne supporters have had enough. And you're right. It's results that we've been having over the last 9 weeks of footy that has got to this stage where it's becoming embarrassing what teams are serving up right now. Absolutely embarrassing. Embarrassing in results, in margins, but also fade outs. And that's where I sit back and look at Richmond and go, they've got kids who are playing their first season of football and they're having a massive crack. And you've got these other teams that have got people on massive contracts because you know what? They put their hand up and say, I'm worth the big bucks. Pay me. They don't deliver. They can't kick from 30 metres. They can't even kick a point when it's needed. Set shots ridiculous. Where's the pride? If this was a real workplace and you were serving up that performance, you'd be disciplined. You'd be with HR right now. Mm-hmm. It is a disgrace. It is a disgrace what clubs are serving up at the moment and getting paid big bucks while people sitting here are struggling to get a job and they're collecting their big bickies.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you at least have heard from your president/CEO about stuff.
Oh,
we haven't heard from ours for the whole season.
Who's yours? Koshi?
No.
He's
as
moved
is Matthew, our CEO is Matthew Richardson. Haven't heard a letter. Haven't got a letter from Matthew about the club. How we're going? What's the season looking like? What's the mid-season review? Nothing. Just literally nothing.
Yep. Here's some stuff coming through, right? Bo Hawkins, love him. Been so loyal for so long now. AFLW season is around the corner, and then it's Kanga season. He's looking forward to the women. Respectfully, I don't know how many people actually say I'm looking for AFLW. But he is. Dando's mentioned that Melbourne keep breaking records for all the wrong reasons. We had the highest grand final loss. We gave that to you. We had the 187. And now we've got this, the biggest three-quarter time comeback in VFL AFL history, Jdog. That is ridiculous.
It was a record-breaking weekend for both of our clubs.
And 90% of North's list would be sacked from Australia Post. No one gets sacked from Australia Post. No one gets a sack. So it's just a farce, just the whole thing. And then you just have a look at some of the things on the weekend that just make your eyes spin. Like Bailey Smith, 43 disposals. Top team. Dacos, 42 disposals. Top team. Rao, 37 possessions. Lillicky Neal, 36. Bontempelli, 35. All teams at the upper echelon. So what does that say about the opposition that they were playing? Goals. Cameron, 11. Norton, 7. Darcy, 6. Wangani Miller, 4. Shannon Neal, 4.
Look, there is one positive, Peps. And I said that we will never see this again in our football watching careers, lives ever again. We genuinely may see a 100-goal season this year. Yeah.
You're exactly right, mate. And I think we said that. I think I laughed at you when you said that a couple of weeks ago. Because I thought there is no way at all that anyone will be able to do it. He's only 31 goals off. He's got 4 rounds. And if they finish top 2, they're guaranteed of 2 finals.
2 finals, yeah.
So, 6 games? 30? He has to kick 5 a game. But there's a couple of soft kills in there. I think they've got West Coast, and I think they've got...
They got us.
You. Mm-hmm. And they've got another big soft kill as well. I think it might be West Coast, and it might be Richmond as well.
Oh, Sydney. Got Sydney in there.
Yeah.
I think they're playing Sydney for the first time in round 23.
Oh, I know. We played St Kilda twice in 6 or 7 weeks. and I don't get it. I don't get how everything's set up.
Peps, are the players checked out? The clubs that we support and around that mark.
No. See,
are the
this
players
is it.
checking out?
No. I don't think players are checking out. I think clubs have checked out. I look at Richmond. Once again, I look at Richmond. Richmond have not checked out. Look what they served up. They're getting beaten. They're having a crack, Jdog. Can you honestly say that? Can you honestly tell me that the Eagles are having a fair dinkum crack? Can you tell me the Kangaroos are having a fair dinkum crack? Bombers, are they having a fair dinkum crack? They have got a big injury list, so I empathise with them. But the Saints, are they having a crack? Outside of a quarter, they haven't shown anything. Melbourne are poo. The Blues, they haven't shown anything. They played in a prelim a couple of years ago. And then you've got the Power, your mob. No. And then that's it. So from 11 down to 18, I'd say none of those teams are actually showing anything. And the results on the weekend show it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we fix this. I do not know how we fix it. But we've watered down the quality of football. And the stronger are getting stronger and the weaker are getting weaker. I have a solution. I personally think that when it comes to free agency, if you finish in the top 4 the year before or of that year, you can't participate in free agency. You have to trade to get a player in.
Yeah, I mean, other than... Well, really, actually, no. I'm trying to think of, when free agency came in, who was at the top of the tree that got all the good players? Like Hawthorn, Collingwood, all those guys.
Hawthorn did it to perfection.
Geelong. Those clubs haven't dropped since that whole thing. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe with the free agency bringing in, it has completely killed the drafting system.
I think it has. And the academies. Everything around it has just ruined everything about football at the moment. There is nothing There is nothing wholesome about the game. It's all compromised. The fixture's compromised. The draft is compromised. The whole thing is stuffed right now. Stuffed.
All right. Let's move on from Mopey Corner and talk about something.
No, it's not Mopey Corner. It's fact. It is absolute fact. The clubs that are doing well, good on them. And they'll have their time to shine when the finals start. We're going to talk about them. We're going to do our analysis. We'll get balls deep into them. But a number of these clubs have to stop patting themselves on the back and drinking their own bathwater. It's been way too long. Rightio. I do have something for you. You ready?
I do.
It's this little champion right here. Here we go. Have a look at this. Joe Fonte. Joe Fonte is the round 20 rising star. Played pretty well on the weekend. 14 disposals, 5 intercepts, 4 marks against the magnificent Sydney Swans, who weren't so magnificent after half-time. Big boy. I've got mine in my mind already, but looking at Joe Fonte, my friend, if he wasn't an AFL footballer like you've said, Jdog, what do you reckon? And I want to hear it, listeners. Joe Fonte, what do you think Joe Fonte would be if he wasn't an AFL footballer?
All right, I'll go first, then you go because you've thought about yours.
Yep.
Joe Fonte for me looks like someone who is still roaming around the Fortnite rooms.
Yep.
And not playing a great game, just sitting there, just sniping blokes. Like just like a real camper.
Yep.
Just, not really actively in the game, just sort of picking blokes off, that kind of style. And when he's asked to do a job, he just looks at you and rolls his eyes. Doesn't smile in photos, doesn't want to get dressed up, doesn't tuck a shirt in, and has a care factor 0 other than just what's going on in Fortnite.
I like it. You know what I see Joe Fonte as? I've actually got 2 jobs. I could see him as an Elvis tribute act.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a bit of a shook up. He's got the hair. He's got a bit of a raised eyebrow. He could do a bit of that. An honourable mention would be a Joe Dolce impersonator, singing "What's the Matter, You Got No Respect," just because of the name. But the other one, and I think this probably fits it a little bit more, I could see him being a cast member on Home and Away. Just one of those, bit players who has a romance. He'll have his own storyline after a year or two. I can see him being in a band, but he's got a girlfriend, he's got to travel, but then he meets somebody on the road and then has an affair with her, and then it all goes to pear-shaped and then ends the season on a cliffhanger. I could definitely see him, Alex Dimitriades style. I think there's something about him. So I could definitely see Joe Fonte being in a Home and Away. Neighbours, no, he's got too much of a good look for Neighbours. But then he could probably develop himself onto a slightly not watched Netflix series. Yeah. I reckon he's got something there.
I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad, eh? Not bad. Jdog. What players have sort of surprised you this year?
Cross, I don't know. I didn't see the hype of Wangani Malira until the last 7-8 rounds. I mean, Cadman for me as well is another one.
Yep.
Until I actually watched Cadman play, I was like the first couple of weeks, bit shaky, but okay.
Yep.
But I reckon the last 6 weeks just has dominated. I'm going to say the two other forwards of the Crows.
Oh, Philthorpe and Fogarty?
Yep, unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And no, that's about it. On top of my head, I can think of.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I think for me, it's I'm big Wangani Malira after the weekend, but he's a number of weeks before that as well have been just immense, like really, really good as well. But someone like James Peatling from Adelaide has just taken his game to another level this year.
Look, you could pick out 6 from the Crows.
Yeah,
I was just going through the list. I'm like, it's unbelievable.
It is. Thilthorpe. Now we know that he came back from his knee reconstruction last year, but what he's doing there, and he's taking the pressure off Tex Walker, where Tex doesn't have to be the big body down there anymore. He doesn't have to be the one. He can be the third player, and he can also take that forward ruck, etc. It's exceptional. I look at what Alex Neil-Bullen is doing at Adelaide as well too. Like that is from a leadership perspective, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Perryman, look what he's been able to insert himself into, and Ned Long, how they've inserted themselves into that Collingwood mix, and not just be bit players, but responsible, role-heavy players as well. They just and Max Holmes. I think Max Holmes. We saw it coming, but this year's been blowout, and even Bailey Smith's turned my eyes. I used to say he wasn't much chop, never played in big games, never did much. I've got to sit back and go, look, I think I might have got that wrong this year. He has been just amazing. And I think that's the thing that I like about football is that we're moving on from the Dangerfields. We're moving on from the Petrarcas and the Olivers and Tuke Miller and Oscar Allen and Rory Laird. We're moving on from those names and Lockie Neal. There's a whole group of just awesomeness coming through, and that's what I get excited about with footy. And we're going to see some of these kids play finals football this year. We saw what happened with Will Ashcroft. Now Levi Ashcroft gets a chance, or was the other way around? I'm excited to see that. So football's in a good space from a player's perspective, but there's got to be so much done off the field. Can't wait to see what Greg Swan does at the end of this season as well too. Really excited for it. Look, before we wrap up, because we are on the end of it, then we'll have a look at this week's games. Stephen May, ban upheld. What's that? Is that because you don't know, you don't care, you're just like dumbfounded?
I don't know. I don't know what else he could have done. It was a genuine 50-50 ball, both players running to take possession, and it just happened to bounce into Francis's hand just a little bit earlier.
Yep.
The ball has it's an oval ball. It's not a perfect shape. It just happened to bounce that way into it. And then I think Dermot Brereton, God, I hate him, but God, he spoke. There was a segment on SEN. He's like, is about the duty of care and the ball, likelihood of the ball doing the exact same bounce as before. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and he's right. There's no way a player can predict at that speed that the ball is going to bounce one way or the other. That's why the ball is the shape that it is.
Well, the other thing that he said also is Des Gleeson is just making a mockery of him. I mean, the quicker they get him out, better. But the other thing that I liked about it, he goes, where was Francis Evans' duty of care?
Yep.
Why is it the player that gets injured or the player that doesn't get injured has to show the duty of care? Francis Evans never slowed down. Francis Evans never did anything. I know he got injured, but that was only because he was shorter than Stephen May.
If once again, I know you've been saying this for 8 years. If you watch the clip as it was in its entirety at full speed, it just looks like the ball has ended up in Francis Evans' hands before May's, and it's just a glance, and it's just a collision game. It is what it is. When you still frame it and you put it where it looks like May has tucked the arm in and really going, it makes it look 1,000 times worse.
They should not be playing the clips at slow-mo, ever, because it distorts reality. Absolutely distorts it. So, but he's banned.
That was a collision. That
was a collision, and it's a contact sport. And now, if anyone gets injured out of a contest. And what makes me laugh is that then May gets kneed in the head in a specky. Where's De Koning's duty of care taking the specky? You know what I mean? I'm being really facetious here. And I'm like pulling it along bow. But I think there's a bit of the Toby tax. Well, Toby got done again. How May can get weeks for that. How Toby can get a week for that. Which was stupidity. But Darcy Moore drives his knees into the back of a player deliberately and doesn't even get cited, not even fined. That is where we're all sitting back going, it's completely wrong. It is completely wrong. Rightio. Big Dog, let's get into this fixture for this week. We've got 9 games, unfortunately, but I think there's some things to look forward to. All right. Western Bulldogs versus GWS. Western Bulldogs lose. It's completely done, isn't it? Season's over.
Yep.
All right. So they've left it in the hands of themselves and other clubs to lose. Adelaide versus Hawthorn. If Hawthorn lose, they're a chance to miss out as well.
Yes, Hawthorn alone can drop out.
Yep, definitely. Melbourne West Coast. Who gives a shit? Gold Coast, Richmond. Look, Richmond have upset Gold Coast before, but this is going to be there. That could get ugly. I think that might get a little bit ugly. Sydney versus Essendon. That'll get ugly. Collingwood versus Brisbane. Now, if Collingwood do a number on Brisbane on Saturday night, there could be a case that they miss out on top 4. There could be a case, and it's been mentioned today, that with their run home, they could miss out on everything. I don't see it happening, but they could be not playing, or they won't be playing top 4 footy this year. I don't think they deserve to either, to be honest. St Kilda versus North Melbourne. After what both those teams served up for 7 of the 8 quarters, I don't know who's even going to win that. Geelong versus Port Adelaide.
I'm not even going to turn KO on that weekend.
I wouldn't even pay for it anymore. And Fremantle versus Carlton. So there's literally 2 decent games this weekend. Collingwood and Brisbane and Adelaide. Oh, no. Western Bulldogs, GWS, Adelaide, Hawthorn, Collingwood, Brisbane. The rest, you can just... If you get more than 5,000 people at those games, I would be surprised. That's how bad it is. That is how awful it is. Hey, don't get me wrong. We love footy. It's just in a bit of a yuck spot at the moment. It's just a yuck spot. And when finals come around, we're absolutely going to smash it. Can I roll through a couple of things that have come through on the chat, by the way?
Go for it.
A bit of a blue between Bowie and Chatsy. Chatsy, Boa's coming. Look, Chatsy, I'm being honest about North. I'm not bagging him out. I hate it when our skipper was laughing during the game. I hate the fact that Sonia, who was in the room's having a laugh. You want to do that? Do it out of the spotlight. Actually give us something for us to get excited about moving into the next season. 6 seasons of shit is enough. Bo Hawkins says he's a madman. Chatsy says maybe you should follow somebody else. So it's actually got a bit touchy coming around these people. Here we go. Slow-mo is for runouts and stumpings. Real-timers for AFL decisions. I think that could be one of the lines of the season that has come through. I like and at least our AFL side will potentially go back-to-back. So they're going to be...
Who said that?
Chatsy, the Roo boy. He loves a bit of bags. All right, big dog. Hey, we'll be back next Monday. Look, we could be in a complete rant again, or something might actually shock us and we'll have something really exciting to talk about. But just stay with us. We just got to get through this cold part. We're going to be getting into the finals, and that's when the milkshakes bring all the boys to the yard. And North will beat the Saints, and we'll all forget about that putrid loss and the unreal comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Peps. That's Jdog. That's the Round 20 review. I'll see you back here next Monday. And big fella, how do you want your footy?
I want to lace out.
Oh, I just want to...